You've probably never heard her name. But her story is one of the most heartbreaking in the entire Bible. A father makes a promise to God. A daughter pays the price. And for thousands of years, readers have argued about what actually happened next. This is the story of Jephthah's daughter. Jephthah was not a likely hero. He was the son of a prostitute, driven out of his own home by his half-brothers, forced to live as an outcast in the land of Tob. He surrounded himself with other outcasts, men with nothing to lose. But when the Ammonites went to war against Israel, the elders came looking for him. The very family that rejected him now needed him to fight. Jephthah agreed, but only on one condition. If he won, he would become their leader for good. They agreed. And so he marched out to battle. Before the fighting began, Jephthah made a vow to God. Whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in victory, I will offer it up as a burnt offering. It sounds strange to modern ears. But vows like this were common in the ancient Near East. A soldier promising something valuable in exchange for divine favor. Usually, that meant an animal. Jephthah likely pictured a goat, or perhaps a servant, stepping out first. He did not picture his daughter. The battle was won. The Ammonites were defeated. And when Jephthah returned home, his only child came out to meet him, dancing with tambourines to celebrate her father's victory. He tore his clothes in grief. He had made an oath before God, and in that culture, a vow could not be broken, not even by a king, not even by a father. Here is where the original Hebrew becomes important. The text uses the word olah for burnt offering, a term tied to complete consecration, something fully given over and never taken back. Scholars have debated for centuries whether this means his daughter was literally sacrificed, or whether olah here signals something else, a life set apart forever, dedicated to God in perpetual service and lifelong virginity, never to marry, never to have a family of her own. Either reading is devastating. Either way, a father's careless words cost his daughter everything she might have had. Before it happened, she asked for one thing: 2 months to go into the mountains with her friends, to weep for what she would never become. Not for death itself, but for a future that would now never exist. A husband. Children. An ordinary life. The text tells us that afterward, the young women of Israel kept a tradition. 4 days every year, they would go out and remember her. Not celebrate the vow. Remember her. This is a story about the weight of words spoken carelessly. Jephthah didn't sacrifice his daughter in a moment of cruelty. He did it, or gave her up, in a moment of speaking before thinking, of trying to control an outcome that was never his to bargain for. How many of us have made promises we didn't fully understand the cost of? A commitment made in a moment of desperation, only to realize later who would actually pay for it. The daughter in this story is never even named. But she is remembered. Every year, 4 generations, women went into the hills and said her story out loud, so she would not be forgotten. Maybe that's the real lesson buried in the original text. Not a warning about oaths. A reminder that even the people history forgets to name are the ones worth remembering most. You've probably never heard her name. Now you have. And her story is still one of the most important in the entire Bible.